Welcome back to the Artefactors Union. I'm your host and Foreman Douglas Scoundrels. Today we are assembling the Mysterious Fate box for the Neverborn faction. These are versatile models that anyone can hire without attacks. The box contains two minis. One, a Mysterious Effigy, the little spider thing here, and then the Mysterious Emissary, the large tree person. That is the artwork. Looking at our renders, there's the Effigy, and the Emissary has a lot going on with their base. I think this one is going to be somewhat complicated of a build, but we will see. That's our box. Let's look at the sprues. We've got two sprues split between the characters. Here is our Effigy. Looking like we got maybe 10 bits or so. Then the Emissary on this much larger sprue. I've got a couple of the bits that had fallen off the arm here. You can see. Will have gone down in this corner. And then I have this one here, which I believe is this bit. So we'll start with the Effigy. Let's look at the instructions first. I believe we will start with the lower half of the torso. We'll combine these two pieces of the skirt. After that, we will add both sets of legs inside of that. And then we'll find out where this mask goes. It should go somewhere on the skirt. Once we're done with the lower half, we'll add the back of the upper torso, the front of the upper torso, her face, and finish with the right and left arms. Alright, so these two pieces first. This is the back, I believe, so we'll start with this. Back half plus the front half. You can see this hole here. That is where that mask is going to go when we get around to adding it to the skirt here. But now we can see where our legs are going to be jammed in there. Should be safe enough for us to put them in together and then put that in there. But if I have to take it apart, I will. So we'll set this down. We'll grab these legs, which are slightly closer together, and then attach these legs to that. So it looks like our other set of legs is actually going to fit in this crevice here and not actually attached to the underside of the rest of the mini. It's just going to be this bit right here. So go ahead and add that other set of legs. It can go in either way, but there's only one orientation which really fully fills out this gap. So if it doesn't look right, then flip it around. There they are combined. We check our gaps. Looks good. And looks good. Seam is fine. So that's the correct orientation of the legs. Now as far as putting them inside of the skirt, you'll just have to dry fit. There is only one way it's going to be able to go in with how the folds in the skirt go. So just keep trying until it slots in real nice. There we go. Now let's go ahead and add that one singular mask right in there. Okay, that looks good, albeit it's sticking up quite a bit. We'll see if I regret doing that later. Our next steps, we're going to build the upper torso. Start with the back, add the front to it, put the face on after that, and then jam the whole thing on top of the bottom lower torso and legs, and then we'll figure out the arms. Back plus the front and the face. Now let's jam that on there. That went on just fine. Just remember that the mask that we added is going to be on her left hip. So let's do her right arm now, which is the one holding the knife. Sew it in pretty easily. Note that she is holding it behind her back, and also there is a connection point on her lower back that the hand forearm can glue to, so 2-point connection there. Let's do our last bit, the left arm holding the mask. Okay, took a bit of poking and prodding with the knife to get it in there, but it is sort of the back of the upper arm of the dress. There we go, she's all done. The arcane effigy is completed. The hardest part for assembling this is, I'd say, figuring out the orientation of the legs, and then that right arm holding, the left arm holding the mask gave me a bit of a fits, and it looks like it's not in there quite right, so I'm going to go ahead and adjust it now. But yeah, that connection point is just ever so slightly weird. Well, that's it for difficulty. Not too bad. Let's move on to Nightmare Fuel. Alright, so this is going to be difficult. It's a ton of pieces, and it doesn't help that a couple of mine have popped off. But I will just let you know if I'm currently using a piece that has popped off for me. So if I don't point to it on the sprue, it's in one of these little baggies that my donor gave me. And you should be able to reference that. I don't think any of them is super duper confusing. But how are we going to do this? We're going to do it in parts. We'll start with building the emissary themselves. And once we're done with that, we'll do all of the extra bits on a base, taking them one at a time, because it's really hard to identify them. They all look very, very similar. Right, so at least I'll go over the assembly for the big guy, gal, wood person. Our torso is these two pieces, plus a back and a pelvis over here. Then we can do the two halves of the right arm, the two halves of the left arm, one being here and the other one in my baggie down here. Attach those, and then we can do the head, which is, I think, right here in this baggie, as well as this little extra twig thing coming off of it. Then we're done with the torso and upper and arms and head and whatnot. We can start on the legs, our right leg being this long a piece, plus an extra bit of the thigh and an extra bit of the calf, and a foot, which is right here. Our left leg, however, is 4 pieces, 2 pieces of thigh and 2 pieces of calf. I think it might be more like 1, 2, 3, 4. Anyways, that will finish up the emissary, and then we can talk about the base after that. So here's the instructions, and then let's get started with these 2 pieces. As our first bit, the bigger one, is basically our abdomen and the back. So let's do our next piece, which is going to go right there. It's unintuitive how this is supposed to set in, but this is our end product. I think using the neck as a point of reference would help, but there's this big old hole, which will be one of our arms. So we've got that done. Let's flip them over and go ahead and grab the lower back and pelvis, which will go right in there. And that is going to be this piece. Okay. We've got a full torso now. Great. Okay, our right arm is going to be the extended long fingers, so these 2 pieces, we'll combine them and then jam them on our body. Here's the bit with the 2 separated fingers, and we are looking at the connection point. Now add the other bit, and there they are combined. Kind of hard to visualize what it's supposed to look like until you combine the 2 of them. Now here's our connection point for effectively the elbow, and that will go right there. Alright, there is sort of a plug on the elbow of the body that slots into a hole right there on the forearm. Okay, let's grab our other 2 arm bits then. First one, which includes the shoulder, is going to be this bit, and then the other bit is one that was in my little baggies, this guy. So let's grab that first one. Alright, now add our other bit. There they are combined. Now our shoulder bit is just going to connect right here on the torso. Both arms are done. Now let's do our extra little twiggy bit, which is going to go right there, and then the head. So that bit is going to be right there. Oops. This one. Okay. So the orientation is the twiggy fragile part is going to be coming down the front of the chest. Now let's do the head, which will pop on right there. Mine came separate from the sprue, and it looks like this. Look at that pretty smile. Upper half of the body is done. Now we're going to work on the legs. Let me unhook this from the model I'm painting. Alright, we'll do the right leg first, which is going to start with this one, and then there is an empty spot in the back of the thigh here, which will be this piece, and then the other half of the calf is going to be this piece, and then we will do the foot, which is this one. Okay, our skinny piece is going to fit right along there. Let's do that first. And there's the combination. Pretty good seam. Now let's add the calf bit. Okay, that's on there good as well. Now let's do the foot. Effectively, we're looking at the connection point on the ankle, so these rooty bits are going to be the toes, more or less. And that's one full right leg. Okay. We will attach it to him right there. Okay, I thought it had a larger connection area, but it doesn't. More or less that tooth and hole is where most of the model is going to be connecting, although it also connects right there. So a sort of bare divot groove here is supposed to be there, I guess. Okay, legs attached. Now let's work on the other leg, which is going to be a combination of this bit and this bit, as well as this bit with this one down here. I don't know if those are the actual bits to combine. We'll figure that out, but since these two have the ball connection, I'm assuming they go together. Let's do them first. Haha, almost connected them without showing you the process. So here is the one bit. This is the bulgy ball connection. Let's put the other one on it. Okay, got them connected. That's our seam, our other seam. Our connection to the body is going to be this right here, so this is going to be our thigh. Now let's do our two pieces of the calf. I'll grab the big one first and then put the smaller one on it. Big piece. Alright, our pointy end is going to be up near the top of this wider portion of the calf, but we should be able to attach it to the thigh right along here. And the leg is mostly straight. Okay, let's add it to the body. And that's the leg. It'll be stepping more forward than the right leg. And connection looks better than the right leg too. So we are going to call him done, and now we need to work on the base. Here's our basing bit, and this is going to be the foot of our big emissary, but as you can see, there's a lot of bits still on the sprue, so let's go ahead and go with the simplest ones and work our way up from there. I believe the simplest I can see right now is going to be this short stem and leaf, and this head, which is a solid head, doesn't have an extra piece to it or anything. And that'll be our first one. Okay, here is our small stem with a leaf. The head of the plant is actually going to be connecting right here along these leaves. This is the connection point onto the base. You can see on the back of the head a nice connection point right here. This will be the top that fits into this groove right there. Goodness. There we go. Groove right there. Alright. Alright. Let's look at the back to show you that connection. But our little leafy plant mouthman is done. Looking at our base, our first bit is going to insert right in there. Use the foot as a reference. Little guy is eepy. He's lying on the ground. Okay. Next we're going to do is a small creepy child. So one of our bits is this one, which has the head on it. And you can see it's sort of split down the middle. And the other bit is one that came in my little baggie. So it'll look like this. So let's combine the two. Okay. There is the combined pieces. Now this creepy mimic child is going to go right here. You can see the hands and the legs. Okay, there is our small creepy mimic child. Let's go ahead and do the other plant that's currently like barfing up one of these small creepy children, because it inserts there and I want to figure out if I screwed up on my order or not now rather than later, even though it's the most complicated sort of build and all the things that go into this base. So again, it will insert there. Now the bits we are looking for, I actually prefer to flip this over to the backside because it's a lot easier to show you what we're working with. This is going to be the sort of neck of our plant. The lower jaw of it, you can see the legs of the creepy child, and then the upper jaw here, as well as this U-shaped stem for the plant, and finally the two bits of our creepy child body and the head. So let's work from the bottom. So stem, neck, do the lower jaw. We'll combine the two pieces of the child and add that to the lower jaw, and then we will finish by attaching the upper jaw. Here is our stem. The connection point for the neck of the flower is vaguely semicircle, so you just need to do some dry fitting until it slides on. It can actually kind of attach without glue, but obviously you're going to want to put the glue on it, so like that. Okay, now I'm going to take it off and glue it. That worked. Now let's put on our lower jaw. No, that was dumb of me. There is no connection point for the lower jaw onto the flower, so instead we're going to build ourselves a creepy child. So body and head. There's body and a head. I think that's the right orientation. Now let's add it to the lower jaw of the plant. Alright, orientations should change once we put it on the base. If it's not quite the right angle, then the surface of the base should correct it for us. So let's add the top of the jaw now. Okay, that's really uncomfortable to look at. Let's attach that to our stem now. Alright, looks good. Now as far as attachment, it's going to be a little weird. But what you're going to want to do is actually put it in this way, behind the previous one we made, and then insert it. And it's going to basically be barfing the creepy child outside of the rim of the base. Let me go and do that. Alright, that went in pretty easy. As you can see, it goes underneath the one we had before, but also the head of the plant connects to the top of that one. You can see in there, so it does need to go afterwards. Yeah, it's easier to put in than it looks. All right, let's start. Well, let's do the easiest bit we have here. A singular piece that'll go right there, and that's this little guy. Okay. Next up is going to be our noodly boy, which I believe will go here, the really long one. Our stem is going to be this bit, the split one. The neck of the plant is going to be this guy with just the 3 leaves. And the head is going to be the one that is split down the center line, these 2 bits. Here's the stem. Now we add the leaves on this part here. We don't do anything with this side. Let's look at the back side. Just for reference, goes in all right. We have a small flat side, so it isn't completely circular. So I think we can get away with adding one side of the head at a time. Let's go ahead and do the left side. It's left. I should have specified that the left side is the head with the leaf on it. You can see that here, and the leaf is pointing down. So let's add the other side of the head. Okay. All done. Now jam it into the base. Plant done. Now let's do our last 2 bits. Get another plant, but we know exactly all the pieces that go to it. Here is our stem, here is our neck, and the upper half of the head, the lower half of the head. So we will go in reverse so we can actually like combine the two halves of the head first, then add the neck, and then attach it to the stem. Starting with our lower half of the head. Actually, that doesn't really work very well, so we will instead attach each part of the head separately. Let's do the lower jaw. This is the angle I think we're going for. So effectively this long skinny leaf is on top. So lower jaw. Yeah, there we go. That looks good. Now the upper half. Leg. Alright, now let's jam it onto our stem. Cool. He's all done. Put on the base. Alright, he is on there. They're all on there. So now let's finally glue our boy to his foot. Girl, tree thing. Foot's right there still. And the camera doesn't want to focus. Alright. Also note that our last plant guy will connect to the stem of this one right there. Okay. It's heavy, so it's going to take a while for it to cure into a safe position, but you can see the connection point there, and maybe even in there. Adjust my light. Yeah. Just got to hold it for a bit, and we'll be good. It's all done. Come on, base. It's so many pieces. It's so many pieces. Dear God, it's so many pieces. It's a lot. It's a lot for any mini, really, I think. So the Arcane Emissary, Mysterious. Did I say Arcane for the Effigy? Whoops. I've got Arcanist on the brain. Alright, difficulty for this one is just a long slog with a lot of bits. I really think that's where most of the difficulty is, although getting the plant heads to attach wasn't exactly fun. The split ones, the one with the open mouth, and figuring out orientation for all the stuff on the base. The base was a lot more difficult than the Emissary themselves, so keep that in mind. But they're all done, and you should be able to do it too now with these instructions. So you're welcome. Let's get the whole box. The Mysterious Effigy and Mysterious Emissary are done. What a box. I think you could probably guess most of the difficulty lies in the Emissary, and especially that base, but it's such a pretty base. So I've really given a review of these guys, and I don't think you need me to recap the thing for 2 separate minis, so I'm just going to go ahead and let you enjoy how pretty they are for a few more seconds, but I have been your foreman, Douglas Scoundrels, helping you build a better Malifaux. What was the name of this box again? Oh, Mysterious Fate. Pretty sure I said it's a Mysterious Fate box. Oh, whatever, you don't care. Good night.